All right, put that link up. And now start the recording. Put the sound down. And stop. That's not right. What's happening? All right, thanks for joining us for episode 103 of the Football Coaching Podcast, the first effort to make this a live video podcast as well as being a podcast, an audio podcast. So what's basically going to happen with this, and the reason I'm doing it is just to kind of be everywhere. If you can't see the video, if you're just listening to the regular podcast, which is probably what most of you are doing, you're listening to the regular podcast, nothing will really change, although I am going to kind of diagram some stuff. So as I go through here, what I wanted to be able to do was have a visual component to this. So sometimes I'll get emails from guys that say, hey, I heard you talking on episode whatever about this play or that play, and do you have a diagram for it? Could you draw it up? So what I figure I could do with this is be able to draw stuff up. So if you're on the video feed, this will be on YouTube, and when I kind of know what's going to happen, then I'll tell you where it's going to be. But for now, just know that it is on YouTube here, and if you're on YouTube, then you're seeing my little mouse cursor running around, and I'll be able to sit here and diagram up plays and draw up all these things that we're going to do and going to talk about. Now, that may cause a little bit of a lag for the people that are on the audio, and I'll try to edit it some. But so that everyone knows what is happening right now, we are in two places, both the live audio the live video and the audio. I'm going to intend to do these. This was all ready to go at 10 o'clock this morning, Thursday morning. It didn't happen. So that happens, and it took about 2 hours to get this set up. My webcam was in use. I'm not sure if any of you guys know anything about a webcam out there that's maybe tracking me, watching me, seeing what I'm doing. Then let me know and stop watching it, weirdo. All right, episode 103. Main topic today, we're going to talk about three types of screens for your offense. So, we're talking about screenplays and the way that you can use screenplays in your offense. Should you be using them? Where should you be using them? Why should you be using screenplays? This is not meant to be a total rundown of every type of screen there is in the world. But in the way that I look at it and the way that I view things, I think that there are really basically three types of screenplays that you can run. So we're going to talk about those. We're also going to get into some listener questions that are mainly, I think these are mostly defensive. Well, I think we got one defense. Oh, we got one defense and one offense today. Take that back. Two defense, one offense today. One of them's pretty short. For the questions, again, if you have questions, go to footballcoachingpodcast.com. Click on the contact button. Send an email to me with those questions. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Also, you can just email me, footballdefense@gmail.com for those. A couple new posts that are up on footballoffense.com. Put up a new post that is, what was the new post on footballoffense.com? I'm going to have to go look here. It was yesterday, so it's completely slipped my mind here. On footballoffense.com, we have a new post about the zone lead play. So basically how you can take your zone play, add in an H-back or a fullback, and lead up. And you can also use the same terminology to do your zone read. And then on footballdefense.com, posted an article that I haven't really put out there yet, but it is 38 myths that defensive football coaches don't want to let go. So some of those things that we just refuse to let go, a lot of them are things that I hear a lot on Facebook, on Twitter, through email, that just truthfully kind of annoy me a little bit. So I want to put those out there. Huh, that is odd. So let's talk about screenplays. First of all, a screen basically is a pass thrown behind a line of scrimmage. I know you guys know that, but just so we all know what we're talking about here, these are passes that are thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Because they're thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you can release your offensive lineman down the field. They can get down the field to block for that guy. So when we're talking about screen passes, that's what we're talking about. A screen is anything that's thrown behind the line of scrimmage where we can release offensive linemen to essentially create a screen, a wall in front of those guys. And not just offensive linemen, we can use other receivers. Receivers can block downfield because of the fact that the ball is being thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Screenplays are more of a long handoff, and I'm looking down. I'll just show you here. This is what I've got. I have 2 pages, page and a half of notes, of which most of which is questions. So only a little bit of it is written up about screens. I'm not reading it. I got a couple notes here, just so you know. So we're talking about a screen. To me, a screen is a long handoff. I saw Chris Hatcher. Who was, I don't know where Chris Hatcher is right now. I would have to look it up. They moved so much. This is when he was the head coach at Valdosta State. Was the last time that I saw him speak, I believe. And I had the VHSs. I hope I transferred them over to DVD before I got rid of my VHSs. I had the VHSs of the Air Raid 1 and 2. They were old championship productions, I think, videos. Were really good. But Chris Hatcher said in one of his talks that I saw that basically his dream game, his dream play calling game, he never called a run, but that he used screens instead, because a screen to him and to me too is just a long handoff. So these are when you work these, when you spend enough time working your screen game, and I think you do have to spend some time working your screen game. I think the failure of screen game a lot of the times is we think, well, it's just a little flip for the quarterback, and anybody who can do that. What we see a lot of times is quarterbacks come back there and they gun the screen pass, and it's hard for the guy to catch. He doesn't put a little touch on it. We just need to put a little touch on it, get it out there. But quarterbacks have to work that. I don't think it's as natural as we might want to believe that it is. So it's a relatively low risk passing game. It's a way for you to spread the field, to get guys out of the box, spread the field, little threat of an interception or an incompletion, because your quarterback, again, if you're working this enough, your quarterback's just making a nice soft touch pass out to that guy, whoever your screen guy is, and it should be open, and if it's not, he's supposed to just throw it away. Most of your screen game is if it's not open. Some guys have double screens and triple screens where they'll read 1, read 2, come back to the backside, all sorts of stuff. They've got an alley screen, they got a middle screen, they got a bubble screen set up. We're going to keep it simple today. You can do that, sure. I think that there's value in that if there's some kind of a pre-snap read. The post-snap, I want to get a screen pass out. There's a certain timing to a screen pass, and it varies depending on what the defense is doing to you. But the screen pass needs to be ready to be released fairly soon. I don't want a ton of setup for it. We ran a screen pass, and we had a miscommunication, I guess, basically. I was coaching the old alley screen that we ran. We were running it a different way in the backfield. We didn't get it all communicated against a team that was bringing the house. They were lined up in a bear front. They were bringing 6 every play. So they brought 6. It was wide slam open, but because our old alley screen was a catch and throw, our offensive linemen were basically releasing. The new screen was a catch. There was some play action involved to it. Now, the way that we're running it is fine. That's the way it should be run. We should have set for a minute. But at the same time, we were playing a team who had their ears pinned back. We probably shouldn't have been doing all this stuff in the backfield. We should have caught it and gone because the screen was opening up. That's a game plan thing. This was a scrimmage. But that's what I'm talking about as far as if we had been running the backfield action the old way against the team that we tried to run it against, it goes for 60. Now, the next team that we scrimmaged, one of these jamboree setups, we were on the alley screen, and it's there, and it goes because they were a slower more of a reading team. So it's a game plan situation when and where you use these. Why do we want to use a screenplay? Basically, what everybody knows about a screenplay, number one, it is to slow down the defensive rush. When teams are blitzing you, teams are really coming hard at your quarterback, your offensive linemen are going to kind of feign a block for 1,001, 1,002. They'll pass set, and then they'll release that guy, get by him, and they're getting up the field. Okay, wherever you're going, if you're going out for an alley, if you're going up, we're going to talk middle, alley, and bubble. So we're going to slow down your pass rush because we're going to screen you. We're going to use your pass rush against you. We're going to use your defensive aggressiveness against you because we're going to throw the screen behind you. Okay, the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the ball to our best athletes. We're talking about running an R screen. Our R is our tailback, our running back. So we're going to run an R screen. That's our middle screen, getting it to him. You can flare and run your alley with him out there. You can even run your bubble with him out there a little bit later with your R. We're going to use our slot receivers. A lot of times your slots are your best guys for these because they are your smaller, faster guys, your Tavon Austin type of guy that's going to be out there. He's going to get in space. He's going to kind of get lost in all the action, catch football, and then he's just looking for creases. He's looking for room, getting in and out behind those blockers. So really good way to use your screen game is to use those slots. And then we're going to have our bubble screens also going to the slots as well. Alley we're going to throw. We can throw alley out of trips to a slot, but alley for the most part we're going to throw to the X or Y outside. Bring him back inside the bubble. We're going to get to that edge guy, but we can also just flip him if it's what's best for your team. All right, so let's talk middle screen. Okay, middle screen is probably the basic one. It's probably what people think of when they think of screen game. Okay, so we line up our middle screen, and I'll just draw ours up here as I talk about it. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to have our R kind of fake a pass set or a pass block and then just slide in behind these guys. So we'll release everybody else, maybe release them on verts, we may keep them for protection, just however we want to do it, whatever makes sense for us. So for now, we'll just say that they're releasing on verts. Our guys are going to pass set. On a middle screen, we're going to have the tackles set and invite an outside rush, and they're going to drive the pass rushers out. So they're going to invite an outside rush. They want those defensive ends, those really aggressive pass rushing defensive ends. They want to invite them up the field just to get them out of the way. Your nose and your tackle, we're going to pass pro them at first. So for us, it's just basically a lateral step. We're going to pass pro those guys. We're going to pass pro any blitzing linebackers, depending on what our call is. Our R is going to step up like he's pass pro. If he has somebody come, he's going to chip him. And then what he'll do is just turn around. Again, make sure he knows where the line of scrimmage is because he needs to be behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to turn around as the quarterback is backpedaling. Some people will sprint. You can sprint him to this. You can sprint him out and half roll him. There's a lot of stuff you can do with your quarterback action. But again, once he gets his read, it's just a flip to that guy. We'll pass set. Play with the timing on your pass set for the middle screen, and it's going to be the same for your alley screen if you're going to run it the way that we're running it now. Those guys are going to pass set, and then they're going to release about a second into it, maybe a little bit longer. They'll basically pass set for about 2 steps, and then they're releasing, and we want to make a wall down the middle of the field. Okay, we want to make a wall down the middle of the field for that back to set into. And our guys are always trying to go out and chase linebackers and stuff. They always want to go out and chase the guys that are outside. And we tell them, if they're outside, let the back just stay in behind you. Those guys won't be able to fold in. Now, if they're slightly outside, then obviously pick them off. But don't chase somebody who's flown out. Basically, what we want to see is we want to see the Mike backer, Will backer, whoever your linebackers are, we want to see them pass drop. So let's say we got a cover 3 team. We want to see them drop out and get out, and we want to leave a void where the pass rushers are trying to get to the quarterback, where the pass coverage guys have dropped out, and we've got a hole in the middle of the field right behind that pass rush, just behind the line of scrimmage, and for about 5 to 8 yards in front of that, and then our blockers will clear out the rest. It'll really be, ideally 10 yards behind that, and our blockers will clear it out as we get up the field. So that's how we want to use a middle screen. Again, a middle screen. I think a middle screen is the best one to slow down your inside rush. And I look at this from a defensive standpoint, like I do everything. I look at this from a defensive standpoint, and I say when we're talking about screen game and the 3 screens that we're looking at, your middle screen attacks your spill players. So when we go back to umbrella drill, okay, we go back to the umbrella drill and the umbrella drill, but the umbrella concept. And the umbrella concept being the idea that we have certain guys who are inside the umbrella and certain guys who are outside the umbrella. So we've got our defensive linemen, we've got our inside linebackers if we're talking a 4-2-5, and this applies to everything, that are your spill players. They're inside the umbrella. Your middle screen is attacking those guys. Now we talk alley screen, we're attacking the guys that are the umbrella. So when we talk alley screen, we're going to attack our strong safety, weak safety in a 4-2-5 or in a 3-3-5. We'd be attacking our 2 deep safeties if we're in a quarters coverage 4-3. We're going to be attacking the guys that are the umbrella now when we go to our alley screen. And then finally, when we go to our bubble screen, we're going to be attacking the guys who aren't involved in the umbrella concept at all, which is our corners. So when we talk about our screens here, just understand that our middle screen is attacking the guys that are under the umbrella, our spill guys. Our alley screen is attacking the guys that are the umbrella. And our bubble screen is going to attack the corners who are not involved in this. They're your deep zone players, your deep safety guys. Okay, corners, a deep third safety maybe, depending on how you're playing it. And if your players understand where you're trying to attack, where the screens are set up to attack, then they may give you a better path once they catch the ball. Let me go back one thing on the screens. No indecisiveness. When they catch the ball, catch it and get 5 yards now. Remember, we're talking about a long handoff. Remember, we're talking about this being a long handoff. So if we want it to be a long handoff, then we want them to catch the football and get up the field right now. We don't want them doing a lot of dancing and moving and juking. We want them to catch the football and get up the field right now. So when your guys catch screen passes, catch it, get up the field. All right, let's talk alley screen. Again, alley screen, I would say a middle screen, we're going to attack an over-aggressive spill players, over-aggressive defensive front by throwing over top of them, at least over top of the rush, underneath of the pass droppers. When we talk alley screen, we're going to be attacking over-aggressive force defenders. We're going to be attacking force defenders who are over-aggressive to the flats as well, wherever we need them to be. But especially if they're really getting up in there and they're getting up in your business as far as attacking the run, we're going to throw the ball around them, throw around the outside of them, come down on them, and just get up the field. So that's what we're going to do with an alley screen. We can use this to our advantage. And then our corner, our bubble screen is just going to get to the edge. We're going to take off. We're going to attack those guys that are overplaying the pass really out there by getting a. When we throw the bubble, I'm getting ahead of myself. When we throw the bubble, it's like, what's the fastest way that we can run screen or that we can run sweep or jet sweep or toss? Well, the fastest way is to turn and throw it to a guy that's out there on the numbers. And that what we're doing now is we're taking advantage of your deep corner. It doesn't work well against press. Press man's a great way to take away screen. Guys say, what do we do with the screen game? Play press man. Press everybody. Man up everybody. And that takes away most of your screen game. Doesn't take away all your screen game. There's still some things that you can do. But most of your screen games, most team screen games will be taken away by playing press man. I had to take a break for the pumpkin spice coffee in the South Carolina mug on video. My parents live in South Carolina. I steal them. I steal these Tervis mugs every single time I go down there. I get at least one on the way out. They are great. I've never bought one. I have a cabinet full of them. They're my parents. I'm not stealing from them. They give them to me, but I take a random one each time, so I have kind of a collection of. I have like Coastal Carolina. They live right next to Coastal Carolina, so I have like random Coastal Carolina gear and stuff. Okay. All right, let's look at the alley screen. So with the alley screen, this is where your cage drill comes in, and if you're not sure about that, Google cage drill. It's probably something I want to put on the onfootballoffense.com. Would be a good idea, since I'm always looking for post ideas, things to do. Write that down. Cage drill. I've been lazy this year with our offensive linemen because they're all back. Now we started like 8 offensive linemen last year. I think that's a pretty accurate number, and a lot of them are back, and so we haven't done a lot of the little detail stuff because I just want to get really, really good at some of the basics. So we'll start working. We'll probably work more alley screen, cage drill next week as we're in a bye week this week, and we'll get into week 1 next week. So alley screen. Again, we're going to attack those spill players out here. So what we're going to look for on the alley, usually to a slot receiver. Most of the time we'll go to a slot receiver. We run this, and I'm using some of our formations for those of y'all that are watching it on YouTube, watching it drawn up. But it depends on what we want to do. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to set the tackles. The only difference is I'm going to set the tackle on the backside, the one that's away from the alley. He's going to set it just like he's running middle screen. He's going to set him for an outside rush. Our guys always ask, how do I set him for an outside rush? Just set harder inside. And so when we just kick. I tell him kick on the line a little bit inside, and that'll set that outside rush. Force him to take an outside rush. If he wants to take an inside rush, just keep working inside. I think at some point, we'll maybe evolve to, we want to invite the outside rush. If he wants to rush inside, maybe we can evolve to a point where he realizes, hey, this guy's coming inside. I kick. I post a couple steps, and then I'll release with everyone else. I don't see any problem with that. But for now, what we're doing with them is we're going to have him set, invite the outside rush. We're going to have the play side defensive end, or play side tackle, is going to actually overset to the outside to invite an inside rush. I tell him change your aiming point. Our aiming point most of the time is the inside number. Change your aiming point to the outside number. Still block him. Seal him off to the inside. Don't just let him free release to the quarterback. All right, so what we're going to get now, we've invited the outside rush on the backside. We've invited the inside rush on the front side. Everybody else is going to pass pro like normal, 2 steps with their pass pro up front. You can do whatever you want with your backside guys. You can alley both sides. You can, if you're in doubles, 2x2, you can put an alley on both sides. You can have the guys set. You can have them run something else. You can have them flare or bubble. Have the back get out of the way. I like the back to flare away from the alley screen. So you may want to have everybody else. You may want to try to set up 2 screens in one. Have everybody else, on your backside, setting up some sort of a screen to your back, while on the front side they're setting up the screen, obviously the one that we're running, to the alley. We tell our number 2 receiver out there, slot receiver, to block most dangerous man. And what you have to do is get them to determine who's the guy that's most likely to make this play. Who's the guy that's most likely to tackle the football. It's not always the guy over top of your receiver that's getting the alley. If I got a corner 8 yards off, I'm not worried about him. Okay? So I might have a slot right over top of my number 2 receiver, or excuse me, a safety right over top of my number 2 receiver. That's the guy he needs to get. Your screen guy is going to push hard up the field, 1-2. He should have his feet set for that. So if he's going to go 2 steps, he should have his inside foot back, 1-2, and then so that outside foot is his second step. He drives back toward the quarterback. He wants to really show his numbers to the quarterback as he drives back and gets back behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, make sure that he gets back behind the line of scrimmage, catch the football. Okay, as he catches the football, we've all set up front, guard, center, guard, set. They set 1-2. Okay, 2 steps, and now they're releasing. Okay, their release is flat down the line of scrimmage, not out. Their release is flat down the line of scrimmage. They should be going behind the rush. Again, that's why we want to invite the ends up the field. I don't want to set the ends. I want to invite the ends up the field, get them out of the way. should invite an inside rush by the play side end. Okay, invite the ends up the field, and then release flat. They'll want to release up because they're always looking at the picture. We do it on air, and that corner standing out there at 8 yards, 8 yards off. That's not where he's going to be. He's going to come up. And then we're looking, our rule is to look out, up, in, and that's the cage drill that we work. They look out, up, in. So the first guy, the front side guard, is going to release out, probably going to end up on the corner of the safety out there because that'll be the first guy outside. The center releases right behind him. When he sees that everybody outside has been picked up, he turns up. He's probably going to have a pursuing, most likely the alley player. So basically you're going to get the force guy or the secondary force guy depending on who you've blocked with your first lineman. You're going to get the alley player with your second guy. And this is all theory and hope. It doesn't always come out that way. You're going to get the second guy. Could be a linebacker, could be a safety, depending on how quick they react. With your second blocker, your third blocker is going to look up. Everybody's taken care of up. He'll turn inside to seal in. Hopefully you've gotten a little movement out of those linebackers by flaring your back. And so he's able to seal that off. So they look, your offensive linemen release out flat. 2 steps, protect, release flat. Look out for the first guy outside, close guy to the line of scrimmage, or close guy to the sideline. Get him, then turn up. As long as everybody outside is taken care of, there's somebody still outside for your second guy, he'll take him. Let's say the free safety screams, okay, and he overruns it. All right, we'll take him. We'll take those guys. Take out, up, and then if everybody outside is taken care of, we go in and just turn inside and look for him. We've got the defensive lineman to rush up the field. So we've taken care of them. And we've set up the alley for our running back. He catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage. And then he works back inside. And again, if he knows that umbrella concept, he can release right up the umbrella because we've taken care of the force defender and the secondary force defender. We've blocked up on the alley defender, and we've blocked in on the last spill guy. For those of you that know the umbrella concept, out, up, in. I've got a video on umbrella concept. It's a major part of the 425 defense e-course. I mean, it's a major part of the 425 defense e-course. But I need to make a video just explaining it on everything, all the different fronts. But I've got a video. I think it's at like footballdefense.com/umbrella, but I got to check to make sure. There's a video I made a long time back that took the module from the 425 defense e-course and just sent it out for free. And I just need to make that a post because I think it's a page right now. It's not showing up for guys, but I'll do that. I hope I'll remember. If you listen to this and you go to footballdefense.com/umbrella and you don't see a video about the umbrella drill, it may be a wild screaming video of me, and then somewhere in the middle is that umbrella drill. But for now, that'll work. But if you don't get anything when you go to footballdefense.com/umbrella, and it's at football-defense.com/umbrella, if nothing comes up, email me, and I'll make sure to get it up there. But that's our alley screen, and again, it's attacking the umbrella. It's attacking the edge of that. And so that's where you want the guy running the alley to go with this. Quarterback, some guys will have the quarterback play action. I think it's a good one because of the timing aspect of it, a little play action off of it to hold your linebackers, or maybe a half roll to the other side and then throw back, as long as you're setting it. Now, like I said, we didn't set it in the past. We just threw it. And you know what? Our alley screen wasn't that good. I think we'll be a lot better setting it. However, gauge your opponent. You may want to cut this thing down. I know I was preparing for this. I looked up a few things, and some guys are saying one step, or some guys are saying just come on back, like a look pass type of thing. If you're setting if you're playing a team that is ears pinned back, screaming up the field, bringing 6, I might run this faster. I might make it a catch and throw and just give that guy a one step and come straight back at the quarterback, show your numbers to the quarterback catch and throw, and we're just going to punch and release up front. If they're coming faster, we may need to speed up faster. If they're slower to rush, we need to sell the pass and then throw the alley. I think some other things you could play with are getting in a trips formation, jetting the inside guy across. Okay, get everybody's eyes running with that jet sweep, and now come back and throw the alley. Can also be a play action that'll help you out. I'm not sure if we got any of that. I think we may have missed on the video. I think we may have missed the entire alley screen. Ah, well. First try. First try. It was there. I promise I did it. All right, and the last one here is the bubble screen. Bubble screen is just about attacking the edge. I mean, that's all you're trying to do here. You're trying to go out and attack the edge and just get on the corner here. Let me back up for 1 second because I said I was going to do this thing, and I'm going to do it. What I'm going to do is pause the audio recording. And on the YouTube video, I'm going to draw up the alley screen because I don't think we got it. And I'm going to do it quick because I have a life. Not much of one. But the whole purpose of this thing was to have all this stuff drawn up. So we have now paused. The audio so that we can draw it up on the video for those of you playing the home game. All right, so again, I just talked about all this. We're going to set and invite an inside rush on the play side tackle. We're going to set and invite an outside rush on the backside tackle. Everybody else is just going to set like normal. Pick up any backers, rushing backers. So we're wanting to get outside rush, inside rush. What you do with your backside guys is up to you. You may want to come out here and set up a screen like you're setting up a screen to your R. Flare him away. However you want to do it. We're going to block most dangerous man with the Z. 2 steps up the field for the X and come back to the quarterback. Show your numbers to him. Quarterback, whatever you want to do. If you want to pass set him, pass drop him, just get him a little separation. Offensive linemen are protecting for 2 steps, 1001, 1002, or 1001 basically, and then they're releasing out flat, blocking out for the first outside guy. It'll either be the force player or the secondary force player. It'll either be the corner or the safety. Turning up for the next guy. If there's still somebody outside, they'll take him. If not, they're turning up. And then as long as everybody up is taken, we'll turn in. And what that does is get us a blocker on the force or secondary force and secondary force. It gets us a blocker on the alley guy. It gets us a blocker on the last spill guy. We've got our defensive lineman rushing up the field. Hopefully we've at least held our mic and backside players with our backside action. And we want to catch that football. And if he knows where the alley's at, it can be a big play for you. Audio back on. And we're back. This is like a this ended up being like a webinar on screen game. Not a real good one, but nonetheless. So I stopped it so I could draw it up. So if you want to see that drawn up, it is now drawn up on the video. Man, I hope this all actually comes out. Gives me look for stuff and it'll be like, wow, thought I was gonna have it. I don't know how we just zoomed in. All right, there we go. All right, the bubble screen. The last one's the bubble, and again, we're attacking the pieces of our defense. Middle screen attack the spill guys. Alley screen attack the umbrella guys. Bubble's gonna attack those corners that are out there, the lazy corners who don't want to get involved in contact. They're just hanging out way back. Not involved in anything. We want to get out to the edge. A long handoff. This is a really long handoff. We want to get out there. We want to attack these guys as fast as we can to the corner. So here's what we're going to get the bubble is not particularly complicated. I think it's, if you know wing T, like 3-step motion for the wing T, that's the way I look at the bubble. It's 1, 2, 3, show your numbers. One, open up at a 45 with the outside leg, open up with that foot, 1, 2, 3, and now you're showing your numbers, and you're not necessarily, it's not a full back pedal, but you want that ball to be caught softly, so you don't want to attack into it. You're giving it kind of, letting the ball come to you. Quarterback's just getting it out there to you. Should be no trouble getting this behind the line of scrimmage. We're going to block the force defender because we're probably throwing this. Again, it's most dangerous man. Your number one receiver is going to block most dangerous man, but it shouldn't be any issue here. That should be the safety. If that's where you're throwing the bubble, most of the time, that's going to be your safety. We're going to attack the corner. So what we're going to get, it could be outside linebacker. I say safety, 4-2-5, outside linebacker. It's the same. Doesn't matter. I got my linebackers backwards on the video. So number one will come down. Some guys will have him push 2 steps and then come down and crack that guy and seal him. Whatever fits your timing, I think it's worth working on. If you've got a doubles formation, you can bubble both sides so that your free safety can't get but so involved in it. Get your running back out of the way. Get him out of the way. If you know which side, you may have your quarterback give a pre-snap, like he may be able to give like a blue or a red, blue left, red right call in his cadence to tell the running back, hey, I'm throwing this to the left. This is if you're doing it both sides. I'm throwing it to the left, so you flare right. Whatever he does, get him out of the way. And don't send him in the direction that you're throwing the bubble because you're bringing the linebackers there. So if we're going to throw this left, we'll flare our R to the right. Quarterback comes up, he says, blue. Okay, that just tells him. All right. All we're going to do up front is quick protection. The ball's going to be out so fast. Cut if there's somebody in front of you and get their hands down. If there's somebody on you, cut them, get their hands down. If you can't cut in your particular youth league, sometimes they're not allowed to cut. Just run block them. You're not going to get downfield. Run block them. Don't back up. Don't get in the way. Don't release your linemen because, again, you're taking numbers to the party out there. Don't release your linemen out to go and help on the bubble. This is a 2-on-2 scheme. Okay, quarterback catch, throw, right now to the edge. When he catches the bubble, he's sprinting for the outside leg of the corner. If he beats the corner, we're gone. He's sprinting for the outside leg of the corner. No dancing, long handoff, 5 yards is a good play. Catch the ball, sprint for the outside leg of the corner. Don't come back inside because we are not blocking anybody inside. We didn't release any linemen. We don't have anybody else coming out for him. There's nobody blocking down inside. Okay? So when your bubble screen is caught, he gets outside leg of the corner, get as much as he can get. If he can make a move on the corner, then he's going to get a big play. If he can't, he won't. But if he runs back inside, he's going to get decked by a free safety, by a pursuing linebacker. That's just what they need to know. Okay? Bubble screen is about getting to the edge. We're going to attack soft corners. We're going to get out there, get some room. If you have corners who aren't playing soft, but there's ability to run a bubble, you can do it. But that's just the way that I like the bubble to be used. You can run all of this screen game out of multiple formations. You can run it a ton of different ways. There's a ton of different things that you can do with your screen game, but just hopefully got some ideas for you why you use the screen. When do you call a screen? It's a safe play with the potential of a big play. I love screens on 2nd and 10, 3rd and 13. Guys, always, we know there's nothing in the playbook, 3rd and 18. No, but there's one that's got a shot, and it's low risk. So we talk about, all right, 3rd and 15. What can we do here? And I always hear, announcers and fans and stuff, and they're like, "I was dumb. You got to get 15 yards." Well, 15-yard pass play has a high turnover ratio, meaning there's a good chance if I try to throw 15 yards down the field that I might throw a pick, especially if it's not what I do. It's not who my team is. So on 3rd and 15, I drop back and I throw a 16-yard pass, and it gets picked, and it gets returned, whatever. Even if it just gets picked, I've lost the opportunity to line up on the next down and punt the ball 40 yards down the field. Okay, if I throw a screen, it gets caught. I get 8, and then I punt the ball 40 yards down the field. It's a plus 48 over the incomplete pass, over the interception. Let's say, I mean, that's not exact numbers, because that would require the 16-yard return. But anyway, if I gain something, I'm giving myself a little room. My next play is going to be a little longer. I think you got a better chance on a screen of breaking it than you do on power, which is nice and safe, but it's not the big play thing. I think also on 3rd and 18, you get coaches, over-aggressive defensive coordinators who are thinking, they got to pass, I'm going to bring it, and that's a good screen down. 2nd and long, same thing. You get an over-aggressive defensive coordinator who says, this is a passing down, I'm going to bring it. And you throw a screen, you get 8. Now you're 3rd and 2. You're back on schedule. Schedule's a big thing. Schedule's probably a good. I got the ideas rolling today. The idea of schedule is probably a good topic. Talk about play calling. I got really dressed up for this today. I can see myself on here. It's a weird way to do a podcast. All right, question and answer. Brand says, I have an unusual question for you. If you could only run your offense from one formation, either 2x2 spread or double tight with double slot and wing, which would you run? Said another way, trying to determine in pro formation if the plays are better run to the tight end or the split end side if you had to choose. We do. So I'm not sure. Are you deciding whether you want to run the plays strong or weak, or are you deciding whether you want to run out of a pro formation, or are you deciding whether you want to be a 2-tight team or a doubles team? So I wasn't quite sure what the question was asking, but we do. You definitely need to decide which way you want to. Don't rep power all week long to the 3-tech and the 1-tech. We can run it both ways, but it's a different look. So if I know you're going to line up in a 4-4, 4-2-5, or even a 6-2, I like power to. This is Bill Mountjoy stolen stuff. Red and white. Okay, red is reduction. Okay, this is old stuff. Reduction. So red is when you have an immediate B gap defender. Okay, a 3 technique. That's a red side. All right, we run certain plays red. We run other plays white. Okay, white is when you have no B gap defender. It's a wide side. Okay, so red we like power. We like counter. Red we like stretch. White we like zone. So when you're talking tight end, split end, most of the time, red side, tight end side, I like stretch. I like power. I would like trap. Obviously, we want to trap a 3 technique if I'm going to run an inside trap. To the white side, to the wide side, to the 1 technique, 5 technique side, in a 4-4, or you have a double white if you have a 3-2 or 3-3 box. So we're talking 3-4 defense, 3-5-3, 3-3-5. You have a double white. When you talk about those, I like to throw to the I like to run counter to the white side. Obviously, it's also because counter is going opposite of power. I like zone a lot to the white side. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I think that's the question, is which plays do you want to run to which side. And when we did the pistol power offense package, and I'm not sure if Brand's in that or not. I'm looking at it, maybe, but looking at, when we talk about pistol power offense, that's where we talk about red and white. So that's one of the modules in there, and I go through the plays. That package will be available after the season's over. I put it out. I got the videos out, but it's got a lot of polishing left to go before it's ready for prime time. All the guys that got involved in it were awesome. we got to do more. We got to do more for it. Those guys have been very patient, though, which I appreciate. Second question, is teaching the long stick from a 4 technique difficult? No. If anything, it's easier. It's not a long stick. It's just a slant. It's just a harder slant. So we're talking about long stick, long stick. We use cut steps. I don't call it stick, and that's just because I'm a jerk. When we long stick, what the crap? With a long stick, when we talk about long stick, and we're talking about crossing the face of 2 defenders. So when we talk about a long stick from a 5 technique, it's a guy who is outside shade of the tackle. He lateral steps, crossover, not a crossover, it's a lateral behind just to clear all the mess if he needs to, or lateral and then a crossover step. Third step, lateral, and then he's attacking the outside hip of the guard. If that hip comes to him, he crosses face. If that hip goes away from him, he bends down the line of scrimmage. He's basically playing like he's shaded in a 3 technique, but he started out shaded in a 5. So that's how we long stick. So when I'm doing that from the standpoint of a 4 tech, it is much easier. Okay, so when I'm doing it from the standpoint of a 4 tech, he's head up. He doesn't need to take as many steps. He can basically lateral, step right at that hip. If it comes at him, I'll cross face. If the guard's hip goes away from him, then he will bend down the line of scrimmage. Okay, so that's long sticking out of a 4 tech. And in fact, that used to be how we slanted in general. That used to be exactly how we slanted. Just always. That was an inside slant for us. Long sticks are used on your zone blitzes. A lot of guys think that you've got to get all the way there because that's how it's drawn up. People will draw it up with the end going all the way down into A gap. I don't think that's how you long stick. Not successfully. You know, long sticking, if he comes to you, you cross his face. But if he doesn't, you just bend. Either way, you're going to create what you need. People use it a lot for like America's Fire Zone type of stuff, where they're going to get 2 backers going B gap, C gap, and get that 5 tech end going all the way into A gap, which you can do out of a 3-4 just as easily, if not easier, where you've got that 4 tech. Nose just crosses face into, or nose just slants away from it, and then you've got whatever you want to call these guys, whatever you want to call your outside safety, Will Backer. What do they call them in the 3-4? Mike and Tom or something. We called them Mike and Jack. I was in a 3-4 in high school. We called them Mike, Jack, Sam, and Will. I don't like Tom. Nothing against him, but. All right, the last one comes from Eddie. It says, I have a couple inside linebackers who are having trouble stepping up into the hole to take on a back and make a tackle. I realize drills are to fix problems. I drill them for that. And come group and team time, they are not filling. Besides getting someone else to play the position, maybe I'm missing something in my drills. Please advise. Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I'm honestly having the same problem right now. We've got some new guys playing linebacker. They're not. My trouble right now is not having them step up on a running back. It's having, because they see the ball, they'll attack the ball. The guys I'm working with are aggressive. They're not afraid of contact, anything like that. It's when they see an ISO back, a blocker, that they're not attacking that blocker because they look at that guy and they go, we don't have the ball, and so they look for the ball. And what happens when you look for the ball on an ISO? You get decked. Is the pumpkin stuff coming out early this year? Like all the pumpkin, I got the pumpkin spice coffee right now. I saw it yesterday and I bought it, which I love it. I mean, I love the pumpkin stuff, but I see that all the pumpkin beers came out early this year. It seems like August, like mid-August they were out. Anyway. I, I, how are you drilling it, I guess, would be the first question. And what are you drilling, and where are you drilling? And are you drilling them for success? And are they understanding what is happening? For example, I used to drill the ISO, and again, I'm fighting this same thing. So, Eddie, we're spitballing here. We're all looking to solve some of the same problems right now. I just said spitballing. Is that a stupid word? Boy. So what I'm doing right now is this is the drill that I'm working to try to improve our issue. So this is the drill that I am using right now. As of yesterday, I used it. Okay, I've got a cone, a cone, a cone, 5 cones. You could do it with less. I've got a round bag, a tackling dummy bag. Okay, 5 yards back behind a lead blocker, which we will call a fullback. Okay, again, we're working on ISO, even though we're not playing an ISO team necessarily this week. Although God knows they could come out and be an ISO team, could always happen. We struggled playing it last week, and the team we're playing this week does have a little element of lead in their offense. So here's what we got. Okay, I've got the bag. I've got the fullback. The bag is 5 yards behind the fullback. I've got my linebacker 3 yards away from him. Okay, 3 yards away from the fullback. So picture this. We're all on a line. I've got a bag. Now I have a player holding that bag. So like the next guy that's going to rotate in at fullback, he is holding that bag. Okay, he's gonna jog with it in a second. The fullback is 5 yards in front of him. So the bag that simulates the running back is 5 yards behind the fullback. The linebacker is 3 yards in front of the fullback. On the fullback's movement, not on a whistle, not on anything that's going to create bad habits. On the fullback's movement, he comes up to block the linebacker straight down the line. Okay, just straight ahead. I'm predetermining this for my linebackers. I'm going to say we're going to left shoulder, block destruct. That guy comes at you, you're going to come off, left shoulder, block destruct. Big surface. Okay, big surface. Take him on. Don't cheat each other. But we're only going about 70%. I used to do this. We'd line up. What's an ISO play? Well, back's 5 yards back. The linebacker's 5 yards back. We got 5 yard heads. Pow! We're only getting a 3 yard head start here, 3 yards apart instead of 10. Okay, we're not trying to kill each other because we want to build confidence. I want them to want to step up in the hole. Okay, so that guy's 3 yards away from him. They're stepping up, strong inside foot, big surface, block destruct. As they make contact, the bag holder takes off, jogging towards the cone to that side. So if we're doing a left shoulder block destruct, then the bag holder is going to run that ball to the open shoulder, so in the direction of the right shoulder of the linebacker. He grabs that bag and he jogs, and that bag leans behind him, and we execute a zone tackle, come off, and execute a zone tackle on that bag. Zone tackle meaning we're taking our outside shoulder to our aiming point, which is the inside hip. Okay, inside hip, eyes up, squeeze the bag, drive for 5, end of play. Now, I think we're getting better. Now, I'll also say we've made a few changes in who's playing the position, but I think overall we're getting better. I think even the guys some of the guys who got moved out of that spot, it wasn't because they weren't any better or worse at this particular technique. We needed them in other places. So I think we're getting better with this. But the reason I tell you the way that we're doing it is drill them to step up. When you drill them to succeed. So that's what I'm trying to do here. It's a 3 yard block destruct, not a 10 yard block destruct. They come up, they fit, they lift, big surface. They get the shoulder, the bicep, the forearm, the pec. gets on it, they lift, separate, come off, eyes to the back, to the bag, which would be the back, and they're fitting up and making a tackle. A lot of times when we did ISO drill in the past, it was like, you got to sacrifice yourself for this guy. And yes, let me explain also, I do fit the ISO inside shoulder. So this is not the way that the play would actually happen for us. I'm actually kind of telling them the guy's cutting back or something like that. I don't go into it too much, but we fit the ISO with the inside shoulder. So this isn't simulating exactly what would happen on the play, but what I'm simulating is you give yourself up on the ISO block. You don't run around the block, and give yourself up isn't the right word. You attack the blocker instead of running around the block, but you still come off and get to make the tackle, which is what everybody wants. They want to come off and make the tackle. Okay? They want to be the star too. So that's what I'm trying to simulate there. So when I'm talking about, is there anything that you're missing? No, I don't think so. How deep are you breaking this down? When you say that they're not stepping up in the hole, what's taking them to the hole? Is the back coming right at the hole and they're not stepping up? I would work more in-out drill. Is there a puller involved? Then I would work some guard read stuff. We work guard reads and we work pullers. Is it that they're an ISO look and they're not fitting it up? I would work some of that like we talked about with the ISO fit. The other thing that I can say is that film will do a great deal of value for you. If you can take your iPhone or your Droid, Huddle app on it. It doesn't have the Huddle app, that's fine. I'm using the video camera right now. I don't have it with me. I bought a little remote off of Amazon. I bought a tripod for like $25 from Target, I think, $30 maybe. And again, I'm always doing something new. I have a life-proof case on my phone, so I'm not worried about it breaking. I might look at getting a life-proof case for the iPad, but basically I've got tripod set up outside of our drill area, and this is for drills, I've got a tripod set up outside of our drill area, phone, and I've got the remote. Now, I'm in the first couple of days of using it, so it's not flawless right now, but I'm getting there. When we actually run defense or offense, I stand behind and I film. I don't sit there and watch. I'm not, it's not like this. I've just kind of got it. If I get a good shot, I get a good shot. I'm in the area, and I can see most of what's happening. I can't see the corners, and that's why it's important to me that our corners coach, our DBs coach, is not running scout offense. He's out there coaching the corners. It's important to me that because I can film the defensive line, I can film the inside linebackers. I can't see the safeties. I can see the free because I'm standing directly behind on defense. Offense, I film the offensive line. I film every step that they take. Oh, they love it. Every step that they take. If you can show them, you can tell a guy, you're not stepping up, Jimmy, you're not stepping up, you're not stepping up, you got to step up, you got to step up. When you can actually pull that film out and say, and bring him in or send it on Huddle and highlight it and say, this is what you saw, this guy's downhill, this is where you should be, and this is where you were. Okay? That's where I need you to fit. And then if you can go back, since some of your linebackers aren't fitting, if you can go back and pick out a kid who did it right and say, he does this, bam, and he goes and hits it, and highlight that and make a big deal out of that in a film session, you'll start to get that out of your other guys. Because they want to do it right. They want to please. There's two things happening. Number one is their natural instinct to not go crashing into other moving objects. And we have to build their confidence for that event. And again, it's with success, 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 success. And it's not going to be overnight sometimes. But you continue to drill it. Success, success, success. I hit a block. Oh, that didn't hurt that bad. I hit a block. That didn't hurt. I hit a block. I make the tackle. I hit a block. I make the tackle. On a bag. I defeat a block at 70% and tackle a bag. I defeat a block at 70% and tackle a bag. I defeat a block at 80% and tackle a bag. I defeat a block at 90% and tackle a bag. I defeat a block at 90% and I fit up a ball carrier who's at 60% or 70%. Same thing. I go 90, 90. Now I go group session, not team. I really want to fix this. I go group session. I might go half line. and say, we're going to run this ISO at you. Full speed, you know exactly what's coming. I defeat the block 100%. I come off. I tackle the back. Even if we just maybe we're thud tempo there. I defeat the block. I tackle the back. I defeat the block. I tackle the back. Now I go live. I defeat the block. I zone tackle. There's a long, and as long as it took me to get all that out, it's going to take longer to get it fixed. If you've got a kid who really needs to learn to do it. Now, there's a law of diminishing returns on this. If you got 3 that can do it, it's time to. It's not that you don't work it anymore, but if it's the 5th guy that's not getting it, in varsity football, you got to move on. I got to have those 3 ready for game day. Depending on the level, how much do you don't want to abandon these kids. You're still going to work all this stuff, but at some point, you got to start improving the skills of your top players. I don't think that's as soon at youth, middle school, JV even, but at the varsity level, if I got a 12th grader who's not getting it yet, and he's 5th on the depth chart, and my linebackers, I got a 1 and a 2, and then 3, 4, 5. They can play both positions. 1 and 2 are starters, and then everybody else is 3, 4, 5. That's the way my offensive line works too. That's the way all your positions should work. One guy goes down, like offensive line. If you don't have a starting job, you better know all the jobs, or you're not going to play. So, or you're not going to be, or you're going to go further down the list, or somebody's going to end up taking your job. I got guys that play backup guard, but they're behind both tackles. I got guys that play backup, or they're behind the center, or they're behind. I got backup tackle. He's behind the other backup tackle. He's behind the backup center. He's behind the backup guard, depending on your order. All right, guys. A couple things. I did the live thing. The recording will be on YouTube. Search for my YouTube channel. Just search Joe Daniel. Go on YouTube and search Joe Daniel, and it should come up. There's 2. If you want to watch this, see all the diagrams, there's 2. So the first one is the old one. That has like 800 subscribers, and I just got rid of it because I stopped using that email address. I got tired of switching back and forth. So the new one has like 200 or 300 subscribers. Look for that one. The old one has a picture of me that looks kind of like an angry serial killer. The new one has a picture of me looking really goofy with the backpack and the sunglasses and like smiling, and that's weird because I was on practice field and I don't do that much. I love it, but I don't do much. So look for that on YouTube if you want to go back and watch this. Tell me what you think about it. I'd love to hear your feedback. Do the live broadcast do any good for you? I will plan on doing the next one Wednesday. I did this Thursday. That's great. Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. If you can watch it, great. I'll put a link out on Twitter. I may try to set something else up, and I'll let you know. But I will try to do something with this. So that's it for the for episode 103. You can go to footballcoachingpodcast.com/103 to get all the links. And again, go to YouTube, search for this. Thank you for listening to the Football Coaching Podcast. Oh, and if you enjoyed the episode, leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Thanks. I'm out.